In the coastal town of Camden, Maine, where the Atlantic Ocean met jagged cliffs wrapped in mist, a boy named Eli lived in the shadow of a great lighthouse. It wasn't just a lighthouse, it was the heart of the town, a beacon of hope and safety for fishermen and sailors braving the wild sea. Eli's father, Thomas, was the lighthouse keeper. A man of quiet strength, he carried with him a sense of purpose that never wavered. Every evening without fail, Thomas climbed the spiral staircase, rain or shine, storm or calm, to light the great lamp that shone over the Atlantic. When Eli was 7, he often sat at the base of the lighthouse, watching his father work in silence. Thomas never spoke much about why the light mattered, only that it did. "We light the lamp," he said one night, "not because anyone's watching, but because someone might be out there." Eli didn't fully understand then, but those words settled inside him, deep and steady like the ocean tide. By the time Eli was 10, the sea had become a part of him, the salty air, the distant cries of seagulls, and the constant rolling waves. One late autumn evening, a fierce nor'easter rolled in. The wind howled like a wild beast, and icy snow whipped through the streets of Camden. That night, a fishing boat called the Franklin failed to return. Sheriff Dalton came to the lighthouse, face grim. "If they're out there in this storm and can't see the light, they won't make it." Thomas nodded without hesitation. "Then we'll keep the light burning no matter what." Eli watched from the staircase window as his father braved the storm, soaked to the bone, climbing to the top to ensure the lamp stayed lit. He saw the flicker in his father's eyes, not fear, but fierce determination. Hours passed like days. Then, suddenly, the foghorn of the Franklin sounded faintly through the storm. Safe. Eli didn't say a word, but that night the boy changed. He began to understand the weight his father carried, not just the physical labor, but the quiet bravery. At 12, Eli's life shifted. One evening, Thomas handed Eli the heavy brass lantern. "Your turn." Eli's hands trembled. "What if I mess up?" Thomas placed a steady hand on his son's shoulder. "Even a small flame keeps big ships from breaking on the rocks." From that day forward, Eli learned the rhythm of the lighthouse, the ritual of winding the gears, cleaning the lenses, and lighting the flame. He faced freezing winds, blinding fog, and summer calm nights. Every night, the lamp was his responsibility, a promise to the town and the sea. Years passed. Thomas grew older, his steps slower, his hands less sure. One cold winter morning, Eli found his father still in bed, a folded note on the nightstand. It read, "Keep the light and keep your heart warm." The funeral was small, just the town and the relentless ocean. That night, Eli climbed the lighthouse alone for the first time without his father beside him. As he lit the lamp, a tear rolled down his cheek. But the flame burned steady and true. Life called Eli away from the coast. He moved to Boston to study engineering, to build things bigger than lighthouses. The city was a different kind of wild. No sea spray, no foghorns, just honking cars and neon lights. Eli wore suits, went to crowded offices, and tried to fit in. But at night, he lit candles in his small apartment, not for light, but for memory. He missed the salt air, the quiet strength of the lighthouse, the steady rhythm of his father's work. At 30, Eli came back to Camden. The lighthouse stood, but it was different, automated. Cold blue LEDs replaced the warm glow of the lamp. The town said the lighthouse was to be decommissioned next month. Eli felt a pang in his chest. That night, he brought the old brass lantern, polished the dusty lens, lit the flame. The warm light poured over the cliffs and the dark sea. Word spread quickly. Locals gathered. Some fishermen with faces weathered by years of salt and sun, others just kids with curious eyes. For 30 nights, Eli climbed the lighthouse and lit the lamp. No speeches, no fanfare, just light. 10 years later, a teenage girl named Ava came to Camden. She was wrestling with her own storms, grief, fear, and questions about who she was. One day she walked the cliff path and stopped at the lighthouse gate. A plaque read, "In honor of Eli Thomas, who lit the lamp through every storm." Ava didn't know Eli. She didn't know the history, but standing there with the sea breeze on her face, something inside her shifted. Ava started visiting the lighthouse often. She cleaned the dusty glass, wrote letters to others who felt lost, signing each with "You are still shining, even if no one sees." The town noticed the renewed care. The lighthouse became more than a relic. It became a living memory and a symbol of resilience. Not every hero shouts or stands in the spotlight. Some show up quietly, steadily, without expectation. Eli kept the lamp burning for others, not for praise. And in doing so, he taught the world. Sometimes the smallest light burning in silence keeps the biggest ships from breaking. Thanks for watching